Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Bob. I'm here just to jump in. Yesterday, I read something from what I wrote a couple days before, and I guess it didn't strike your fancy. Um, Anyone who wants to read it, get a hold of me at the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail, and and I will email it to you, especially if you got Google Mail. To do it other ways, please. So anyway, um, I'm just watching. My basic comment is the same as it ever was, and people are just running around like with their heads cut off, right? And it doesn't have to be that way. We live in a place, Garden of Eden. God is always here. Jesus never left. If Jesus had left, we'd be toast. I had a great, amazing Easter.
I haven't had a chance to test anything.
Okay. Well, just keep it there until you.
Yeah, I looked at it the other day and I read the foreword or something.
Yeah.
Seemed like.
You being a Navy guy, I thought you'd really like it because it really captures everything you were telling about being so close and tight and all that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, I read a book, I give it to people because I want to talk about the book. I used to live in a city and I belonged to a whole bunch of salons and things where we would talk about stuff. Nobody talks about stuff. They tell you their opinion, but they don't have a dialogue. So, because they don't want to listen. So, and that's what this is supposed to be, That's what you guys are supposed to be over there and be part of the conversation. Sometimes you do a pretty good job. Most times, nobody shows up. They do. It's like, hey, how you doing? So, from this minute on until 2030, which is, so what is that? That's like 6 years. You thought the last 23 years was crazy? And yet, it will still be just the same old same. But you thought the pandemic was bad? Well, it's not over. The thing about COVID is that it really didn't kill a lot of people. You look at the Spanish flu, which wasn't the Spanish flu. Spanish flu actually came from the United States, right? Kansas. And World War I broke out, and that was in that part of Kansas was the first industrial slaughterhouse of pigs and cows and chickens, and it was just a mess. Go read, what's his name's not slaughterhouse. What's it called? Not the Razors. The guy who wrote the Razor's Edge. Sinclair Lewis, I think he wrote a thing about slaughterhouses, and it was so like, oh my God, the FDA was started. So that's where the Spanish virus came from, and why they call it the Spanish flu is because World War I was going on, and everybody but Spain was involved. So they weren't getting killed, and they weren't being blown up, and they had a semi-free press, so they were talking about this flu. So the only place that wrote about it, the United States didn't. I mean, something to the order of 15 million people died of it in the United States in 2 years. My mom lived upstate New York, and her family went to go visit her great aunt, and so there was no car, no road, no nothing. So they went up there in the sled with the horses, and then they got a real dumping of snow. So they got stuck up in that nice big house for about a month. And when she came back after Christmas, because they were up there for Christmas, they came back around February, and everyone in her high school was dead. Right? So 19 was not a very deadly disease. What 19 is, not was, but is a very communicable disease, and it's airborne, and its most strange thing is that it becomes a revenge, right? And so and so right now the things it keeps different strains it becomes. See, COVID-19 is SARS-CoV-2, SARS-CoV-1, which was out about 12 years ago. It occurred, and that sucker was super deadly. And we were just lucky that it came out in a place that was semi-isolated, and the WHO was right on it and shut it down and let it die out right there and then. And other diseases can be, you look at TB. That's a disease that gets a hold of you and makes you miserable for about 20 years, and then you die. And AIDS was the same kind of thing. And so we more of strange kind of diseases of that nature, right? And I would say between now and 2040, the world's population will drop down to about 4 billion. And that's probably better for the world and better for humanity, and we might survive, right? But in those 20-something years, it's going to be, you thought, from 1991 to 2021 was strange. Those 30 years, and 30 years from now, but nothing will have changed unless it does. And the only thing that will cause it to change is you. You step up, meaning people just say the meanest, cruelest things to me, and and it's like, really? I just walk away because it's a joke. And people can't lie very well. I'm very naive, but the majority of these morons out there, lie like a rug. It's like, it doesn't work. So, well, let's see what time it is. So we're into this for 7 minutes. So, okay, I'm going to try one more time to see if I can read what I have. So, are you still there? Can you hear me now? Okay. Ray was a thug wannabe, not even a gutter punk. Ray was a milksop gigolo, wet behind the ears, a chump wannabe ICP, insane clown party. That's the political party we have now, and we are transitioning into the neo insane clown party. This no way hatchet man, a new wave fundamental believer in the corporate ego, mine, a poster boy for the drift of his story, which has carried the human spirit to where its sovereignty has become subservient to the adoration of the elevation of the illusion of worldly material power, political, financial, military, religious, above humanity's existence, physical, metaphysical. This illusion, a materialistic culture, normalcy, monkey do, is conducive. It's not conducive to the survival of the human body politic. This new corporate state, this evolution of freedom of the corporate ego, is fostered with lies. So that's what you call the new, or the dying global, dynamic of rules order, right? And that's going bye-bye. This unnatural state of corporate ego is motivated by hate of the common sense, love's clarity, of the opportunity of one's ability to act in the common welfare to create a secure state of existence. Nothing seemingly, nothing beneath the surface, nothing past. End of this thing. Huh? This number one thing of this thing. Dear reader, you're at page 174 or so of the 1,400 pages of the first series of Plug the Limbo. I stop here now to converse. What does this mean? I'll have to think about that. So this is just to whet your appetite. In a flavorous style, the rest of these books have. Let's see, what else we got here? What up,
What's going on?
Go with those new old alternative aesthetics, the we and me go co-creation. So say a novel of issues to represent. Chapter 1. Sitting on crapped, outstretched, thrown out, unwanted Walmart slave girl lawn chairs. Each must have its ability to bring their presence the most positive. Hang it up. Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay. Okay. So this is what I wrote the other night. Where can I drop in? Bug Enterprise seems to have lost its way within the present corporate hegemony, where the focus is most intense on the cultural realm of money's power of control. That is, the aesthetic dimension of the branding of culture is considered the premium of importance, where it's not, and at this moment, do we really need another Dark Ages? Well, will the Enterprise survive the wait of another 900 years to illuminate and transformation of humanity from use with ethers to co-creator of the universe? We need to use the experience of co-creation within the indigenous psychological features of the individual in the first person to co-create a higher cultural outside focus in the manifestation of of the enterprise. The relationship between culture and history was seen within Marxism's dialectic as a physical transformation as central to the political and economic culture of control. The ambiguity was not the question of cause and effect. This issue was not critical to Marx. He argued, as did the capitalist, that the economic constituted the essential substratum of history and the foundation to humanity's reason to live, the enterprise. But the golden rule, who has the golden rules, can only work for so long. The enterprise is more than power for love's enterprise to manifest it must include the body politic. That means more than we, the people. That was only the white guys who signed the paper. It was a good bait to switch, but like all ruses, they are time sensitive. Time renewed to retard Monty. Success of the enterprise is not a matter of who owns what, or the foundation of the enterprise is one of faith and not the control of belief in a specific ideology. Fearless nature of intuition shifting. That's the alternative aesthetic. We all our relations need to align to the mystery of co-creation that has always been felt since our first cave paintings. This need to share the expression, what it is to be the creator in the first person, is our love's fearless nature. Intuition shifting. So that's wish shifting is tantamount to being the God in man. This experience is what is needed for love's enterprise to manifest the difference in living aware to the actuality or project. The difference in living awake to the actuality or to the projection of perception. With all the time our mind has suffered in by hiding from our reason for being, by not being able to understand the difference between ego's conditional love's material illusion and our one love's unconditional essence of conscious awareness. Enterprise, a spiritual conscious intent of transcendental evolution from love puppet to enlightened awareness of the intuition shifting. That is tantamount to being the Godhead in man. This experience is what is needed for love's enterprise to manifest. This is what I was talking about 3 years ago as the big splat. So you guys should really go watch my other shows. Come on. Go with love, no old alternative aesthetic that we and me is co-creation, and so shall we all. A novel of issues represented in the deep brain, chapter 1, sitting, wrapped, outstretched, thrown out, unwanted, Walmart slave girl lawn chairs. That's what I like. This unheard voice. Each must have the ability to bring to by their presence, the most positive outcome to our community's cultivation's ability to change for the better, the social, political, economic prosperity for all of our community, all our relations. What is our kind's actuality? Do we exist as we wish it to be into a reality that is just our avatar's ego prison delusion reality? Or is it that which it is, that thing that is connected to love's co-creation, that ego things just are not? What happens when our kind waits no more in the tomorrow of the creativity of self? what happens when mind wakes no more than the tomorrow of the certainty of death, where we live in our ego's projection rather than living in one love's perception of love's co-creation enterprise. Each generation begins anew, a laborious cycle of banishment, a laborious cycle banishing our kind to the ignorance of our ego, prodigious forever, a child in the dark, being condemned to be tormented by our ignorance, to bear the pain of tomorrow and tomorrow over and over. Eternity being conscious of our potential, trapped in our self-awareness, trapped in our self-awareness, so ego's free will's choice. We don't understand our imprisonment of the linear design. We live in the moment, not knowing all there is to know is the moment. We are a curiosity to ourselves. We would like to overstand our linear experience of time, for it is such an impractical state of being, taking our whole life to understand nothing by being under the tedious, slow process of experience of our physical distractions, of our life's illusion, of ego's lack of functional love and forgiveness. We are so limited by our linear experience of time, track in life's leading strange life. We are nowhere near understanding what is about who we are. Can we stop time's ripples of history by events that have already occurred? It has no difference in existence. We project that we believe with prejudice. Well,
Shazam.
Shazam.
No worries. See ya.
Yeah. It's 23:22. There it is, 23:23. So I'm going to go now. I love to see if anyone heard that and what anyone thought of that. And until then, I'll catch you later.